My name is Olivia Clementine, and this is Love and Liberation. Today's guest is Kulavadhuta Satpurananda, also known as Khyapababa. Khyapababa was initiated into the secret oral tradition of the great Indian lineage of Buddhist Tantra at the age of 5. He then spent decades in deep practice and study, receiving empowerments, initiations, and accomplishing practice under great Indian gurus and mystics. Khyapababa is an artist, teacher, and research guide in Buddhism, Tantra, Sufism, and the indigenous practices of mystics of India and Tibet. And at the heart is an Avadhuta, one who has transcended worldly concerns. Can we go back to the very beginning? What were the causes and conditions that even brought you so deeply into the Dharma at 5 and to this Indian tantric lineage?
First of all, my family belongs to the bloodline of Mekhala Kankhala, the two female Siddhas, or said to be the Bajra Yogini twin sisters from Bangladesh. And in the same family, Atisha Dipankara was born also. So my bloodline is purely the bloodline of the Siddhacharyas. Our Kula Guru or family Guru is worshipped in the top as Kanhapa. So this was in the blood. All my grandparents were tantric practitioners. But by the time I was born in the family, they didn't anymore recognize themselves as Buddhists. They recognized themselves as Shaktas, mainly. So the worship of the mother goddess was very prominent in the house and practices of that. But since my birth, so far I remembered, the earliest I remembered, I used to see a female form with 3 eyes taking care of me and talking to me when others are not. And I knew her to be my real mother. Much later, I understood that she is a goddess and she's the mother goddess. So I was also very shocked in that way. My deity was Kali, Tara, Durga, whichever name you give, but the mother goddess. In that way, I followed the spiritual matriarchy by birth from the family as well as from my own sentiment, belief, and emotion. Without a choice, she appeared to me. I didn't know who she is, but I believe she's my mother. And she used to give me unbelievable, fantastic experiences of leaving the body. She used to take me to Tibet, to Kailash. This can all be a child's dream. But I have met masters later who has recognized me from that time. In childhood days, I was engaged myself in drawing 3 eyes of the goddess. Slowly and slowly, I developed making statues of the goddess. By the age of 4 or 5, I was making image of the goddess and worshipping. My father was personally atheist, and my mother was communist, and she was also, both were highly educated. My mother was a school teacher, uh, teacher of Bengali literature, and my father was an advocate of Calcutta High Court. I have a sister prior to me who also was artistic in the growing up by my parents, but I always was the revolutionary because all my faith, world, belief, fantasy, absorption was with this other world. I will say today, other world. That time I knew that to be the world.
Mm.
So my grandparents went to a pilgrimage of Bengal tantric place called Vakreshwar. And there was a hot spring. I was taking bath. I was 5 years old, taking bath with my parents in the hot spring. Suddenly something pulled me from behind the boundary of the bathing place. And I just ran there and met my first guru, who was sitting on a high skull seat made up of many skulls under a tree. And he then and there, his consort Amma came and put me in his lap. He gave me a bath with a big pitcher of country liquor, alcohol, and asked me to concentrate on the burning of the alcohol in my nose, eyes, ears, and all over the body. That sensation. When I concentrated, he rubbed my spine. I was sitting in his lap only. And then he tapped the four lobes of my brain and flipped his fingers over my frontal, touching my frontal. And I observed myself as a small blue gem of light, and I left the body. I traveled through galaxies and planets and whatnot. And more, I started becoming speedy. And finally, more I speeded, more I became smaller. And a time came when I don't know anything anymore. Like it was just dark space that I got absorbed in. This is my first experience of the self dissolving in the void. I came back sometime later, maybe an hour has passed or near about an hour. And my guru made me promise that I will make a bridge between Indian Tantra and Tibetan Tantra, because this is the original and most pure form of Tantra. That time I didn't understand anything of this. He didn't give me any deity, any mantra, anything, but that experience. And then he said, remember this experience, remembering this experience, and again going to the void. My parents thought that I'm an epileptic patient and treated me for some time, which damaged my health very badly. They also thought I'm having hallucinations because I was talking to Ma all the time or telling them that Ma has said this. I believe that they can also see her, but I didn't know that I belong to a parallel world, not to this material world that I didn't know or recognize. So this went on until and unless I got very sick with these medications, mostly drugs, And the reaction of the medicines took me to a state that I was declared dead for 12 hours. In this death experience, it is the same experience, no different. And then after 12 hours, I came back. From then, my parents stopped being hostile to me or hostile to my ways of rites and rituals that used to be not taught by anything, that revealed through me. And my being with my mother, that was not true to them. From the age of 7, I started understanding that my mother, whom I'm calling my mother, is actually not my biological mother. Previously, I used to think that these are my foster parents and my mother is the one who comes secretly. But why, I don't know. But it's like people talking so much and people trying to tell me I'm hallucinating or things. And it came to a point that my mother is the goddess that I imagine, hallucinate, but it was true to me. So I got into a huge conflict in my emotions. And next, I saw Ma talking to me. I told her that, are you a goddess or you are the goddess? What, what is a goddess? I don't know. I know you to be my mother. So Ma said that because you have now known me to be a goddess, there was a lot of talking, and I will not come to you anymore. Now I look back and feel the innocence of a child knowing the goddess to be the mother was very easy to be with. But the innocence was disturbed by the knowledge of the goddess. Even the knowledge of the goddess was not good for me. So you can understand, I felt like an orphan, and it was deadly in my emotions. So anywhere in Bengal, there's a lot of goddesses worship. I used to now run to the pujas that my parents will pull me back, but still I will go. I will get beaten. Still I will go. And then wherever I went, if I looked at the image, again I could see my mother. I could talk to her. So now the communication was a bit ritualistic rather than that natural, simple communication before. So this was carrying on when Ma started appearing to me as an old lady, widow lady, because in Bengal, the widows wear white dress. She was all in white with a very big one dreadlock. And she started teaching me the tantras. So I learned Kundalini, I learned Chandali, I learned Anu Maha Ati Yoga experiences. She's coming to me in visions or dreams and teaching. So that time I didn't know Ati Yoga, but I could completely know the nervous system of the body reaching to the head. I used to believe in these visions. So when I was studying in class 7 or 8, maybe 13 plus age, I was called to the Kali temple of Kolkata by Ma. She appeared to me and said, come immediately. So I went there. I was very young, but still I was going to have a class. So I didn't, in the place of going to the tuition class, I went to Kalighat. And the temple was closed from outside, but a priest helped me to go in because they knew as to time come and sit in the temple, sing of Ma or cry to Ma, and various sorts of experience is happening in me. And they used to observe that. So the priest said that there's something going on inside that we are not allowed to enter. but I believe your ma has called you. So you go inside. When I went inside, it was a huge Ganachakra puja going on, and Baba Ramnath Aghori was presiding it. And many Dakas and Dakinis, or in Indian tongue, Bhairavas and Bhairavis, are sitting in a ring, 3 rings inside the master and master's consort lady was sitting. I didn't know them. I was carrying some flower garlands for the temple, for the deity, but I placed those flower garlands around the Guru. Maybe this made the Guru and the deity the same in my heart. And why I worshipped him and his consort, I don't know. It's just on the moment. And then he placed me in the extension of his tiger skin seat. He was sitting, and he declared that he was waiting for me. He did the same thing. He bathed me in country alcohol, full pitcher, big pitcher. I am drained totally. Abhisheka, we call it. And then he made me sit in the consort's lap, facing her, holding like a monkey kid holding the mother. And he just tapped from the down of my spine till my head with his toes, main toes. And each vertebra he touched, he spoke a mantra and asked me to see that world. So from each vertebra, a new world system opened up to me. And ultimately, he did the same thing, touched my 4 lobes, and I went to various experiences. And then I shoot it out. It's the same thing, but the total process was broken into 33 horizontal paths. And he said these are the 33 realms. That time I didn't study books or anything. Much later, when I started researching on Tantra in my 20s, I found that these 33 realms are the 33 realms of gods and goddesses, which is metaphor of the 33 vertebrae of the spine and the 4 lobes of the brain, which each point is a tattva or a psychic opening up, a wisdom world. That time it seemed like a fantasy, a fairy tales. That didn't come back like that later. More it matured, more I could see that each of these realms are a different psychic mood, an emotional mood that creates a world of thought and observation. Finally, reaching the void. So when Baba Ramnath Aghori gave me this practice, he called me the little emperor of the Tantra world. Why, I don't know. Much later, I learned that this initiation is the 4th major empowerment and initiation in the Tantric tradition and is known as, or the initiation of the emperor's mind. So in this 33 realm are 36 tattvas, or 36 layers of experience, where in some realms it's 2 tattvas or 2 wisdom points in the same state. Like you have to know about these things. Talk about like Purusha and Prakriti, the realizer and the nature as it is are parallel and is in the 6th vertebra. There are 2 tattvas, 2 different tattvas. One is the nature, another is the realizer. But they're together, they're inseparable. And then another 2 vertebrae up It is niyati and kal, which means inevitable change of space or inevitable laws of nature and time. These two factors are also inseparable. This inseparability is later realized as Kalachakratam. So this time and space, that the space is changing according to time, and the time is getting created according to the change of space, are interdependent and correlated. And then there was another point above called Maya. Ma means nothing and Ya means nature. The nothing that tends to be the five elemental nature, how it is interdependent, the void mind and the mundane material mind, how it materializes from the void. And then in the two parietal lobes are called Shiva and Shakti. They are also inseparable because one lobe doesn't work without the other and they're interdependent to each other. So when I went through these, I also realized the interdependence of origination. That time I didn't know Nagarjuna's theory. But when I studied Nagarjuna's theory, I was like wondered, oh my God, this is the experience that I had, that logic of dependable origination. And thus, when I studied the Buddhist texts, I started seeing that these are all in my experience. And after that, when I was 18, by the instruction of that visionary goddess looking like a widow lady, old widow lady with a big dreadlock, her instructions, I practiced sitting on corpses and doing the cremation ground practices, sitting on 5 skulls, seats. Final was sitting on the corpse, awakening the corpse by shooting down through my perineum my all karmic energy into the dead body and making it alive as my contestant of the pure mind and winning over it, which is called Shabo Sadhana or Betala Sadhana. Like my studying of the texts were supported by my practices. The practices were early without any thought process. So when I came back from this sadhana, last sadhana, again the mother appeared to me. And this time she was 3. Tara, Vajra Varahi, and Vajra Yogini in 2 sides. The Trinity came. Ugra Tara means the Wrathful Tara, which is rare today. She has been mentioned as the deity of Padmasambhava, but is not very much seen worshipped by the Tibetan system, though old paintings and statues have been found in Nepal. She appeared like that. And she asked me for a boon. And I didn't want any boon because it was absolute love that I'm searching for her. I had nothing to ask her. I had nothing, no desire about anything, at least. So I got very sentimental and I told her that why she's asking me for boon because I don't need anything. I just love Ma. That is why I have come to this. And then she said, you have nothing to ask. I said, yes, one thing I have to ask. That the world of wisdom says that you are everything. Nothing is away from you. But there is nothing which is separated from you. Everything is you. Then how you become a deity different from everything and appear to me. So my heart is not full. I'm feeling sad that I want to see you as everything. You can give me that. The Ma said that only Guru can give you that. Okay, when you go back home, you will get the connection. When I came back, I was 18 years old that time. I was studying in class 11. I came from the cremation ground. I was sad. I was hurt. in myself with this controversy of Ma as a woman and Ma as the entire universe. And I didn't know what's going on. It was very, very deadly pain that somewhere I'm stuck and I'm not happy with Ma also, or I'm not happy with her individual form. At this time, I attempted suicide 3 times. I only suffered. My mother, my mortal mother, my biological mother told me that even Yama doesn't like you. Give up this path. Come to the mainstream. I said no. So ultimately, in 6 months of that huge psychological turmoil that I don't want to live anymore, because I was running after Ma, I found Ma, but I have not been totally content because I want to see her as everything. So this time I met my Vedantic guru, who was secretly a tantric also, that he didn't disclose to anybody. So I fell in love with him when he really made me realize that the void that I marched in is the ultimate form of Ma. So when Ma is there, I'm not there. I'm merged into her. So he took me to an experience of an embryo in the womb of the mother. He explained in that. It is now the explanation of my experience started coming from this. So 14 years I was with him. He basically made me what I am. But sadly enough, at the end, when he declared me to be an absolute realizer, Avadhuta, I was again not happy because his truth is the self and my truth is not the self. So all this went, and I had a fight with my Vedanta guru. He already has provoked me to come to Sikkim and study Buddhism, and I was doing from 1981. And in 1984, I took to sannyas. In between, I got the yogic practice of renunciation from Ma Annandamoyee. So it was also very astounding. She last time came to her Calcutta ashram and I met her. And then and there, she gave me a practice which showed that from under the feet to the tip of the head, front nail, the body is sectioned into 108 sections of pulsations. And how one pulsation can be merged into the upper consecutive pulsation, and ultimately the entire body sensation will merge into the tip of the head pulsation. She said, this is renunciation because you are renunciating all the pulsations that create your differences. Because the term sannyas or renunciation means samyak nyasa. Nyasa means arrangement and samyak means absolute. How to arrange the pulsation of the body. So I asked her for renunciation grounded in material world, that I leave my family and join her. And she said, no, you are the only son of your parents. You have a sister, but you are the only male child. And according to Lord Buddha, she said that the only child, only male child cannot be given to outer renunciation. Then I cried. She consoled me and said that it will happen to you. Your parents will kick you out. You go on practicing. When the practice is matured, it will happen. So Ma Annandamoyee left her body in 82, and I renounced my family in 84. I was virtually kicked out because I completed my English major in my graduation, bachelor's, and then I was pushed to study law by my father because who wanted to make me an advocate. And now, in my final days of the law, I stood attend my father in the court, and I found that this complex world of manipulation, lying, logic is not, and I cannot anymore proceed in this path. My conscience does not allow. So long I was afraid to leave the house because I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth. It was a royal family, lot of wealth and wealthy support. I didn't know whether I will be able to live alone under the sky, but the pain became so huge that I left the law college in my final exams. So my father got the news, and he just out of fury said, "Get out of my house." So I just walked out of the house and lived some 1.5 months under the sky, dwelling in cremation grounds. Then, time to time, I used to, in my mother's request, I was very attached to my mother. I used to stay with one of her sisters who was a widow, in the responsibility of looking after her. That my mother wanted, I have at least a roof above my head. But there also I could not stay because I could not anymore, once I left, agree with anything of the material. That boldness was there. The spirit was ready to give up anything for the journey and no compromise. So this time period, some 3 months passed, almost unfed, because I also took a vow to myself that if there is any significance of my life, that I have renounced everything, the existence will look after me and I don't have to look after it and take the tension. So if I survive, I will know that I have some work. If not, I don't care. In the cremation ground, when I went, first night I laid down on a funeral pyre and told Ma, Tara, Ma, I've come to your best place, the cremation ground, and I am ready to be a dead body under your feet. But I will not take care of me anymore. If you take care of me, then I survive. Otherwise, I don't want to survive. So I gave up asking for food or wanting food. But in a week, once or twice, somebody will come and feed me. Where they're coming from, I never asked. Why they're feeding me, I never asked. I remained constantly in meditation of Ma and thought of Ma. And there are more ascetics. That time in Calcutta, in the cremation grounds along the Ganges, there were many ascetics used to stay. This went on when my guru came back from the secret retreat and told me that my mentality will not accommodate with living like this. So he said to take a job of a school teacher. So I went to the school I studied. I was a good appreciated student and asked for a job. I got it. But in 3 months, I started recognizing that all this ideology that our teachers have told me, taught us, now I am a colleague. They don't abide by that, everybody. Some do, some do not. And the total system is another politics. So that was another disheartenment or disillusionment. So ultimately, I left that also. And I was very good with my hands. As I told you, I used to make statues of Ma and paintings of Ma. And I was trained in my school by very famous artists. So I took to the profession of art. I used to design the pavilions of the carnivals. And slowly, within 3, 4 years, I was picked up by an international designer office. They hired me as a designer for National Integration Fairs of India with a research project. So I joined it, and finally I worked in behalf of them as one of the consultant designers for central government of India. So with this, my profession, I was happy doing the work. I got recognized by this house of designers that they can rely upon me totally about Indological designs like iconography, designing museums. So in designing these museums, I started getting deep into research. Iconography became my methodology of the research rather than books, though I was studying books. And I found that it came to me that books can be rewritten and edited and changed over time. We're never getting the oldest manuscripts, anyhow. But once a statue is made, it cannot be recarved. So that is a stable mark of history. One who can read a statue can read the practice philosophy behind it. Because of my own personal practices, it was very easy. Slowly, Government of India Archaeological Department started hiring me to decipher archaeological objects, iconography. And by this time in 92, I went through a perpetual 16 days of continued trance. That was the maximum time I sat in a trance in the void. And when I came back from there, my guru declared me, named me as an Avadhuta, gave me the blue robe, the sky clad, and gave me the vows of all virtues and transcending everything, human virtues, and asked me to find my own way. He said, two lions cannot stay in one jungle. You have to go. He said, I know that you will destroy my school of Vedanta. I loved Vedanta. But what I realized in Vedanta is what Buddha called Brahma Vihar, which in Tibetan is called the Tonglen practice. Because you realize the expansion of the self, but the self remains as a never ending space, is the sense of being, which Vedanta calls Brahma, or the never ending expanse. And that is, of course, inseparable from the self. The feeling is I'm expanding, I have no body, I am just light, and never ending expansion. But by the grace of the first gurus, all these ended up in I am merging into the void. That remained sustained. So I told my guru that I am Brahman. This truth I accept, but I have transcended this truth. I've seen something beyond, and that something is basically nothing because I'm not there. How can I say? So he put me into a 3 days long debate. In the debate, he put spiritual juries. Finally, they all found that I have owned the debate, though I didn't want to win the debate because the debate was between me and my guru, and I loved him the most. But somehow I stuck to my truth of experience. So I said that in Buddhism, the four practices of compassion, compassionate practices are given to Brahma Vihara, because when a person finds him or her to be so magnanimous as being, there is a high ego in every step probability of ego every step. Because when we come back to our ordinary self, that ordinary self claims that. So because of this deviation, these compassionate practices are masked, so it is a bodhisattva state. It has also its end. So after all these, my guru recognized that I have transcended the dharmas, I've been into nothing. So he just told me now to leave and find my own way and become, he said, become your own origin. I was very sad. The divorce with the guru was not at all good. I got very angry with him also. When I came and went deep into studying Buddhist Tantra in Sikkim Gangtok Research Institute of Tibetology, talking with the scholars, lamas, meeting yogis and yoginis. Actually, there is no Buddhist guru of mine who initiated me to Buddhism. I was self-initiated, means I have completed my yogic practice, tantric practice, and found that the Buddhist teaching is akin to my lineage. But I was recognized by many eminent masters and yoginis. I will not call their names because they're no more in this world, and their followers will think I am using their name. So I started understanding that what I have experienced are being recognized as perfection. I used to go to these masters, find out where is a real Ngakpa. That time in Sikkim, there were many Ngakpas. Now, Sikkimese people do not even recognize the Ngakpa robe because they don't know. The tradition is gone. Nobody wants to do these long-term meditations, dedicating their entire life. People want to be famous. So now Ngakpa robe is more of a fashion. I was put into Ngakpa robe by the main abbot of Sikkim, Lachen Rinpoche, by saying that people do not recognize you, Baba. He used to secretly come to me for yogic practice and teachings. He was much older to me, though, that you should dress up in the way you are. So this society do not misunderstand you as an ordinary monk. The common Buddhist will think I'm breaking laws. So he put me with this Ngakpa robe. And for some years, I painted tankas also for my survival. Then I was pulled by eminent scholars of India, national and international seminars on Tantrism. And when I went into this world of scholars, I found, my God, they're all talking nonsense. Forgive me. Why nonsense? Because they do not make any sense. They're speculating from the lines. They have no experience. Maybe somebody is initiated in a mantra, in a basic breathing technique or dumo, that's all. Nothing more. And all are talks and talks. So because of my experiential roots, I started debating with them. Then I has been also accepted by the Hindu society as a guru. I have got a number of guru facilitations from traditional Sanskritized authorities of South India. Once I asked that I always talk against the Vedic dictums. mostly. It is not that I don't appreciate the Vedas where they will be appreciated, but that's not my cup of tea. And I studied it for years, 14 years. And so I knew it better. Why do you call me as a guru to your temples and take teachings from me when you get hard what I say? Because all these fights started coming up, intellectual fights, when I found that how much the Vedic school has controlled the school of Tantra in today's so-called Hindu system. Like pure Shaivism, pure Shaktaism, pure Vaishnavism, they're not Vedic. The Kapalikas are not Vedic. The Aghoris are not Vedic. The Sahajiya Vaishnavas are not Vedic. They have always, in their teachings and dohas, transcended the Vedas. Then why again the Vedas? You understand? And moreover, I am a tantric matriarch. To me, the ultimate truth, if can be imagined in any human form, it has to be the divine feminine. Because mother is my source. And Vedas have always disrespected women. So I could not agree. And many a places I did revolution and changed their vegetarian version of Tantra into my non-vegetarian version. But what I found in the Hindu world, people are absolutely absorbed in a mysticism of mantra and power craft. Either they speak high philosophy and they practice absolute mundane rituals. There is no live in between. The Tantras and Sutras are divorced. They do not tally what they speak of philosophy and what the practice of Tantra do not tally. Because I believe that if you practice Tantra, you have to respect femininity as the epitome of humanism. That is how my gurus have taught. And my love for mother, the ultimate mother, for Tara, is that what I've been taught by Tara. And also, my final, I didn't get time to tell you that the lady whom I used to see in my dreams teaching me Tantra, after I met my guru, I met her also. She was even the guru of my Vedantic guru. And she also recognized me, means as if she knows me for a long time. And I said, did you come and teach me everything? And she just embraced me, hugged me with tears and saying, you met too late to come to me. This mother gave me the final empowerment of Ati Yoga, that is the pulsation of the head going beyond the head. How to reach the point of void.
You're now speaking of the Vedas and Tantra, and you've just done so many, you haven't quite named it necessarily because you're telling your own experience, but
Yeah.
you've practiced in the Christian Gnostic tradition, the Mustang Wrathful order of Sufism, the Leftist Tantra. So there was no you seeking these paths. They came to you, and then now that you have this clarity for yourself, the experience plus the maybe self-reflection on Tantra and the truth of what's actually your path, what is your view of all of these lineages that you've also been given? Is it the
It's like
same?
what you know.
Mm.
If you know Indian classical music, you will know one raga can be sung into some 10 different styles. In the same way, I found the truth of spirituality has been practiced in different styles in the esoteric path of different religions. Like a musician will not stop, a true musician will not stop with his school and style and try many more because of the bliss of learning that. So wherever these masters came and taught me, I've all ended up in that void. The Holy Spirit of the Gnostic path is the void. And it can be only approached through the persona of Mother Mary. Mary Magdalene is the priest, again a matriarchal priest. In the path of Sufi Mastans, they see Allah as a beloved woman. The songs about it. But what my Sufi teacher taught me was only one night. It was how to absorb and burn out scenes of people who have unknowingly entered sinful path and died. It is a kind of spiritual exorcism on souls or giving liberation to souls. They are all in Tantra, not different. Only the difference are in the styles of fantasizing or visualizing them. But the real practice everywhere is the internal yoga of the body to mind. And there is no imagination or visualizations.
So when you were focusing more on spontaneous realization, what were you doing during that time?
All this was till I became an Avadhuta.
Mhm.
Till 91, I met most of my gurus, though I met Chatral Rinpoche much later in 2005 or 6. And another Vaishnava guru I have met also in the Baul tradition later, like around 2000. Others were all before. And these two gurus never initiated me into anything, but they always dictated me advices because I was young, how to move, how to deal with people, how to teach. Very secretly, very metaphorically, they have ordered me instruction. I see all the gurus to be the same spirit of guruhood or the Buddha mind. I see all visualizations of gods and goddesses be my same mother. To me, Tara and Mother Mary are not too different. To me, Begum Fatima and Ma Tara are not two different things. Various expressions of the same voidness, I will say. So after becoming an Avadhut and settling down for good in the hills, my income came from scholasticism. Already my researches were taken into Bibliotheca Sikkim Himalaica, and I got approached by many institutions to teach abroad. I didn't go abroad because I didn't want to lose my life with my virtues. I wanted to remain within my chosen place in the Himalayas. But I worked with one American university, Long Island University, in their extended programs of research, graduation, and research post graduation and PhD as the field advisor or research guide for some 15 years. Sitting in my own place, they used to send students. I always said, without field study, teaching this subject is difficult because it becomes only theory, no experience. And not that the students will practice the path, but they need to meet many realizers or go to archaeological places, learn from their historical monuments. That's my life.
Thank you. Obviously, it's just a bit of it. But going backwards, so it sounds like you spent a lot of time in graveyards doing like the pyre meditation and funeral meditation. Can you talk more about those practices, like what you're actually doing, spending all those years in the charnel ground?
See, this practice is a very secret. We are asked by our gurus not to discuss them openly because they can bring people into interest and get into trouble. Entire cremation ground practices, the essence is two. One is what Lord Buddha said of smashanika, that when a higher bodhisattva should live minimum 3 months in a cremation ground. Why? Seeing the futility of the body that he cared so much. This is a very poignant practice of seeing human bodies burning, decaying. That creates a huge subconscious understanding of the futility of the form. When the futility of form starts, it goes to the other skandhas or other elements, the futility of emotions, the futility of thoughts, the futility of judgments, the futility of the self. There are other practices. Those are more magical, that is why they should not be spoken, but I will say the essence of it. Death is the ultimate truth of human mundane life. A child will be born or not, we cannot assure. But one who is born will die, it is assured. So the truth of life is death. This is what St. Francis says, that my life is Christ and death is meeting him. It is not only a devotional word, it's a very deep thing. So, entire practice of the Siddha school is to experience death in life. There are 5 deaths. First is the death of the body, which is the death of sexuality, practiced through Amorali, Vajrali, and Sahajali mudras, according to the samskara, the quality of the practitioner. How, if you stop the cause of birth in you, that sexuality is the cause of birth, you can stop it. Then the Siddhas call them the living dead or the zombie. The term is Betala Siddhi, or accomplishment of a zombie. That it is metaphor. The real thing is transcending sex. So that is the physical death in metaphor. The emotional death is when your deepest devotion end up, in my case, it's Tara. Tara lives in cremation ground. I'm living in cremation ground. And cremation ground is supporting my devotion till death. So that is the death of the emotion. So this is also like cremation ground or graveyard or places where you will get that sense of voidness or nothingness very prominent if you sit and meditate. This is the esoteric value. Then there is to help people, compassion, exorcism. Like there are many spirits who are not liberated, they're suffering. How to liberate? By knowing that, you will know how to exorcise a demon or an evil spirit from a person, how to even be compassionate to evil spirits and demons and tame them with your love and compassion. And they become servants of the practitioner. I've done many of them. Also, I will say, from my view of an artist, sometimes The most beautiful thing in human eyes is nature. Entire aesthetics is derived from nature. And the ultimate jurisdiction of nature on living beings is death. So there is terrible, terrific beauty of the cremation ground. I don't know how to give words to it, but the fearful form of Mahakal or Kali or Wrathful Tara or Trumanatmo, Noidatma, there is such a beauty that attracted me, that wrathfulness. So the wrathful practices are very much connected to death, because every wrathful practice you are taking, you are killing a part of your samskara or your characterization. Like the practice of Chandali. Why it is called Chandali? Chandali means a funeral worker ready. Because in the chakras, our horizontal layer, 7 layers of mind are in 7 chakras. So when you are uprising the Chandali, it incurs a heat that every chakra holding the toxins that are the record of the karmas will get burnt. And that happens best in cremation ground. And in my experience, when a funeral pyre is burning, you are looking at it. If you can correlate that fire inside you, then the inner power fire gets very high, and you start seeing that the dead body which is burning in the funeral pyre is very much you. It's like a psychological death, not negative, very positive.
Yeah.
Then there is this cremation ground practices we call in Indian system bolidan, or sacrificing yourself. Generally, most Ngakpas start with that, but they do the beating of the damburu, the bell, and chanting. But the way I have learned it is a breathing process by which you go through the 7 layers of your being. Like first you offer your skin, then you offer your blood, then you offer your flesh, then you offer your bones, then you offer your bone marrows, then you offer the brain, ultimately you offer the brain fluid, which is making your reproductive cells. All these stages are not only imaginary chanting, they are through the technique of breathing, you are eliminating each of these layers that only can be experienced through the instructions and empowerments of a guru. This cannot be explained or said.
Because you've had so much practice experience, have there been obstacles for you, like for you particularly in this life, for your practice? Yeah.
Many.
Will you speak
Many.
about any that you have worked through?
I have told you fast, it's the obstacle came from my parents.
Yeah.
That's the start, this is the fight. Health hazards followed with the wrong medicines. Years. I got my health back when I took to renunciation and led my own discipline and life, own food system. Then friends, those who are childhood best friends, how much they start misunderstanding you or afraid of you if you disclose your practices. Losing them, the emotional obstacles, pain. Nobody is yours. You have to leave behind everybody you loved. Then mental obstacles. Like today, this philosophy is attracting you more. Next day, another philosophy is attracting you more. You are moving in a plaza of thoughts. That nowadays most of the people do. They do dharma shopping, moves from one guru to another. There's nothing wrong in it to move from one guru to another. You can take thousands of gurus. But then what is your focus gets lost. Many mantras, many deities, many rituals are also obstacles in some point. when you are purifying the mind, because you need chitta matrata, or the clarity of mind which holds no perception, no thought, then all the philosophies are your obstacle. All that you have studied, read, followed are your obstacle. Then comes to the point of final judgments. But what is the truth? As I told you, that my guru is creating obstacle against me. Agree with him and disagree with my own experience. Though it was a trick, but still it was very painful. It was high obstacle. He's taking me to the corner to push me. In that intensity, I got that voltage. I could have failed. So, thus, philosophical pretexts are intellectually charged, logically charged truth is your obstacle. You have to transcend it. It's dangerous. It's painful. This when I had to leave my guru. He knows that I have to leave him. But it shatters the life. Like I have nobody above me, nobody to fall upon anymore. I'm alone in this world. Then a new set of obstacles comes as devotees asking for all mundane helps. Get my child married, get my tenant move out, get my disease be cured. You are actually working against the law of karma at this time. Those who get fastened there, they get lost. Every time a person came for a help, I used to ask Ma, can I help him? Or can I help her? Ma will tell me that what he is suffering is his karmas. I will not help. Okay, that person will get angry with me. If a politician, trouble. I have gone through this trouble. Politicians come being to me to get them selected, get them elected, get them power. No. So I have to even go from one place to another, not to be near political control. Then influential people of the society comes to you for very selfish. If they're within my boundaries of virtues, I will help. Not I won't. So you make enemies with very influential people. Then you run away, or you remain stable and carry on fighting till they come down. All of this time, I took everything as challenges of a sport or a game. Taking to the faith that Ma will save me. I am Ma's child, Ma will save me. Even when I got settled down in the realization of voidness, somebody asked me that you have transcended visualization, everything. What is your devotion to now? I said, if I fall back into my emotion, it's Ma. It's nothing else. It's all, everything is to me, Ma, nothing else. I cannot do without a God in the mundane, but I can do without myself in trance, in samadhi. But I am not there. I don't have a God. I don't have a principle. I don't have a dharma. I've transcended everything. So when I see from that point of wisdom, I'm creating my own pure fantasy. Why not? I'm an artist. I'm allowed to decorate my own house. I'm not disturbing anybody. Similarly, I'm decorating my own mind. And that decoration is not made by me. It's revealed to me as Ma. They see my voidness is Ma, and Ma is my voidness. So when she is Ma, she's everything of the mundane. Everything is in her hand. My suffering is in her hand. My bliss is in her hand. It's all her grace. She is playing with me. And when I go into the wisdom, I'm one with her. I've lost myself. How can I point out her as a different being than me? Or where is even me? So if you think obstacle, everything is obstacle. If you take it as a game, everything is in the game of life. But yes, now I am aging. I'm 64 now. I'm finding old age is an obstacle. Health is an obstacle. But that don't create much difficulty in my mind. And the last but not the least, at the age of 60, I got married. I found my real spiritual partner, not for any physical contentment, but she was my disciple for long years. Then one day I found her to be as my mirror of wisdom. She's my ma, who has come in this form. And through her eyes, I'm learning myself newly. So that is the time I started understanding that the way she observes me. So I was convinced she didn't say it by her own words, but her parents, her friends, my other disciples, all wanted me to marry. Then one day I asked that we are guru and disciple, why we have to marry? Like why marriage is a recognition of a guru and disciple when not such relationship is in between? So all of them told me, including my own children, my spiritual, that you don't see how much she loves you. So I consulted a high psychotherapist friend of mine. She's still my advisor, and she practices very deep meditations that I help her. She's another one who, by her own being, has reached very high levels of meditation in the process of psycho, much older to me, mother of my a disciple. Just the other day, I was talking to her in evening. So she told me one day that, do you know, you call yourself matriarch, but do you know you are a matriarch in the mundane? I said, what do you mean? That you are not seeing the lady beside you, who is your absolute spiritual partner? I said, no, she's my disciple. I don't see her as my partner. But soon you will learn to see. Our words have become true. I've learned to see myself from her view, and she's also a very high practitioner. That enchanted. So I wanted to know from the view of a woman what type of a guru or a siddha or a hopeless being I have. It is too late, but it's never known. So in this old age, she is beside me to teach me the ordinariness of being. That even you lose the self in your experience of deepest meditation and transcendence, till you come back. When you come back, all your actions and thoughts create an ego, or at least an identity. How you can transcend this identity, which is called Vajrasattva, or the indestructible identity. But still, this identity is a fake identity. This is not real because I don't exist. That I know very well. But how I'm seeing another person is also going there, and how she's living with me has given me the rest of mind where I don't have to fight between my appearing identity and non identity. There's no conflict between the two. It's her grace. So she is also, to my view, she's my mother in this form of a wife. This was incomplete in me. So she completed it in me.
Well, congratulations on your recent marriage. And it sounds from what you're sharing that you're in a tantric relationship. So what would you consider first a true tantric practitioner? What does that mean? And then what does it mean to be in a true tantric partnership?
The true tantric practitioner finds out the cosmic structure in body mind. The term tantra in Sanskrit means mechanism. So what is the cosmic mechanism accumulated in the epitome of a human body? Life. Ultimately, everything is valued by life. When I was not born, all these troubles, good, bad, ugly, spiritual, mundane, nothing was. After my death, they will be there or not. I will not come to talk to you. Or if I come to talk to you, they get scared. So, Tantra is the structure of life that has been produced by the cosmic evolution to Mother Earth evolution, to life evolution, to human evolution, to evolution of human psyche. This is how I have realized and seen. My view came from my experience. And tantric partnership is very essential. Why? Because a man is more bent towards the analytical understanding of spirituality, whereas a woman is more bent to the emotional experience of spirituality. A man misses the emotional experiential version. Though my entire life started with experience, that may be the reason I recognize a woman's superiority over any masculinity from the view of Tantra. Ma is absolute. Like we call the voidness as the mother consciousness. Entire universe is born in her womb. And this magic of mechanism that from nothing to everything is the character of a woman. Through tantric understanding, I have found that when men get attracted towards women, they wrongly and falsely recognize it as sexual attraction. It is basically the attraction towards voidness that the woman is holding and the man is missing. And the woman suffers it, that voidness, and wants to fulfill it through the understanding of a man, because she relies on the analytical approach of man. So, a tantric relationship is the relationship between the two lobes, the male lobe and the female lobe. And the intercourse in between is the voidness. So that is the ultimate reality of a tantric man-woman relationship. In Indian pretext, as the text, tantric text says, there are 5 ways in the 5 elements. Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhu. Shanta means the relationship between the king and the subject, very distant, ruler and ruled. This is in the physical level, between the guru and the disciple, between 2 yogi and yoginis. One will supersede the other. Woman can be a guru or a man, or both are under the same guru. And if you ask me, I will say a mother guru is more perfect than a father guru. Why? There can be many logics. But in my life also, see, since my wife since my disciple has become my wife and she is the mother of my children, she deals with them in teaching and practice much more simply with her affection and less words than me. I've seen that with my mother gurus. Unbelievable. I think because mother is the first guru of life who has created you. In Tantra, father is called the great guru, but mother is called the greatest guru. Then the second state, the emotional state, the guru and the disciple, or the lover and the beloved, are master and the servant. In both genders can be the master of that. In the third state of mind, they become two friends. So they share a lot of things equally. Like, a guru also needs a disciple to express himself or herself. Disciples become the mirror of wisdom for them. I've seen this between me and my guru. I've seen this between me and my disciples. In the state of pure intellect, the beloved is the father or mother, and the lover is the child. Or the lover is the father and the mother, the beloved is the child. Like adoration of the newborn Christ in Christmas. What's the emotion? That my Lord is my child. I care him. So those feelings come. And then finally, the fifth element, or the identity or ego or the self, it's the lover and the beloved, or the husband and the wife. That happens. It happened between me and my Vedanta Guru. In his devotion and love, I started becoming a woman mentally. That started reflecting on me physically. Then one day, I was stopped. Means my entire body was changing. I was young. I was so dedicated to my Guru, and I hold him as my beloved. I didn't try to do it. It happened. That time I was very much into Vaishnavism also. I was hearing these Radha Krishna songs days after days, so they reflected in me. So I became, in my own mind, my Guru's Radha. This happens. These things happen. Because the ultimate state of being, even the self is not there yet. It's the being. It has no gender. It has no sense of gender. So all these beautiful jewels of the five elemental relationship.
You are a Baul musician, and I've heard some of your offerings or songs, and I just love them so much. And I am curious how this came to you. Like, how did you begin to let these songs come from you?
My Vedanta Guru was a kind of Baul. In the sense, he was not a traditional Baul, but he used to go into trances, and when he will come back, a revealed song will come up from his lips. He used to tape it or write it down. There are thousands of songs. Maybe that was the impulse, that I don't know, but from my childhood days, worshipping the mother, I used to sing revealed songs. It was in me. The emotions used to gush out as songs. That time I have not met this guru also. After I became an Avadhuta, I lost the mortal connection with my guru. I was broken heart. First time I went to the great Baul congregation of Jayadev. So there is a place called Shantiniketan, Near is a village where the great text Gita Govindam by Jayadev Goswami was written and completed there. So the day of completion of the text, Gita Govinda, which is tantric. It's a Radha Krishna Sanskrit text, but it's speaking of entire tantric copulation. This is from where the Vaishnava Shahajiyas are derived. The Bauls come from early that tradition, and Joydev Goswami is some 700 years old or more. So I first went to that congregation. At that time, 2-3 lakhs, 100,000 people will gather in that village. And I got dissolved with them. And in that congregation, I sang many songs that were all extempore. They found that there is a source inside, that Ma speaks from inside. And then I was given a convocation by the Bauls as a lord. They called Kotta in that mela by other Baul gurus. And later I met Doyal Baba, 120 years old that time when I met him first. A great yogi, Vaishnava yogi, who was one of the heads of the Bauls. And I met another great master of the Bauls. These people have Mahasiddhas. What I've seen in them, what I've heard from them, their yogic perfections that I've seen, I always keep miracles apart, but still they're there. But yogic perfections I've seen, unbelievable. Dwal Baba used to take one breath in 40 minutes. That much. He died at near about 140. He and my second Aghori guru, Baba Ramnath Aghori, they were bosom friends. These are like masters of masters. So Dal Baba also gave me a very high pedestal in the Baul world. And I love this world. But more time passed, I started feeling that a sexual perversion is taking over the next generations, and the real masters are no more. The old masters died, very few took up the real path. Now, a lot of sexual perversion is in that world. Nowadays, I don't go very much. It pulls me. Sometimes I go. Some of my old Baul friends are there, but they're not Siddhas. But it's very difficult today to find a Siddha in the Baul tradition. It's very sad, very sad. Everything is free sex. And that is what attracts the city-like people too much, the Bauls. And now you know there is like city Bauls, all program masters, all performers. The term Baul actually came in the Dohas of the 84 Siddhas. The term was Bayul. Bayul means one whose breath has got dissolved into fire. That's one who have died in Bayul, or one who floats, surfs on breathing. These days, like now, I cannot refer one single Baul of that perfection. Last year, I went to see for an evening the Baul Mela in that Joydev village. I didn't find one master alive in his ashram. So generally the masters used to put the holy fire. There is no holy fire almost any ashram. That means there is no guru anymore. And DJ going on, big pavilions, big chaos going on. People are drunk, doped. So this is, you can also say, an obstacle. The outer world of spirituality is becoming very small and small. Even in the Tibetan Buddhist world, today there is monastic hierarchies who are claiming to be Ngakpas and giving, I will say very badly, selling Ngakpa robes in the West. The Tibetans do not, in their tradition, give a Ngakpa initiation so easily that they give to the West. And Sikkim being the last resort of the Ngakpas, the abode of Guru Padma Sambhava, we don't see Ngakpas anymore. Last week, I was in a pilgrimage in Sikkim. Every year, I go twice. I try to go twice to all the caves of Guru Rinpoche. Not all I can. My health does not permit too much of trekking these days. But I go, stay, meditate with my wife and my disciples. This time, like local people were asking me which religion I belong to. They don't know this robe. Think what degeneration of the tradition has happened. But it's at least they don't wear it mockingly or without a real inheritance. Ngakpa robe means you are a master of Tantra. When Lachen Rinpoche gave me this robe, I said, why I have to tell people, why I will make my body a signboard? Then he gave a very beautiful answer. He looked at my eyes and went on smiling and said, Baba, you are yourself a signature. Why not? In our tradition, our dress is the silent credential. I said, so many people can use these credentials falsely. So why you are asking me to value it? That whatever you have done, Baba, in your life is big virtues. So for our good, wear the dress that suits you. Accept it. Like my Indian guru, the day I last met him, asked me not to cut my hair till I meet him. Now my later dreads came up by the late 90s. The hair was growing, and now they're like 15 feet long. I have to keep it bound always, head becoming hot, always in a cap. Don't like it. I feel like I have to shave it off. But it's not good to shave off dreads, they say, because I didn't make the dreads. In meditation, jelly-like substance comes out of the head when you go to yoga. And this brain fluid that comes up knots the head. Do we believe that it's a grace of the Guru? I don't cut it. So it is also an adornment, outer show. Then the earrings I wear, this is also an outer show. I didn't wear the earrings for a long time. Then one of my disciples who attained a state of perfection said, your Guru asked you to wear earrings of the Natha order. You didn't. Why? I said, because to wear the earrings is to take an oath of transmitting my realization to another one. That the right ear has listened to the Tantra so perfectly that I've got a ear cap. Ear chair. The left listened to the instructions of Tantra, so an ear chair. So how can I claim that? So she said, she was a Tibetan lady, older to me, that if you say that I have attained this state, then you should wear kundalas. So she put kundalas on me. Like this, one by one attributes came. But today, there's so much false appearances that sometimes I think I will not wear these things anymore. Like when I go to West, people will appreciate my dreadlocks and said, how many dollars did you spend to make them? So then I feel sad that my tradition is getting disrespected because it's a fashion to them. They don't know. It's not their fault.
So one time you wrote, when nothing is important, one can coolly apply importance to everything at the same time. Can you share about engaging in life in this way?
When there is nothing important, means you have reached the voidness in your being. Then there is no differences. When you come back from samadhi, on whatever thing you focus, the structure, internal structure of that thing starts becoming vivid to you, to your inner eyes. So, what is life left for when you have understood that nothing is important? To give importance to everything. I will give you an example. When I was 18 years old and I was in Calcutta, I never had friends of my age. Always seniors were my friends. So that time, the first time I am a voter, I will give vote. So all the candidates of all different parties, they all know me in the locality, and they all made me that you have to vote me. So I said yes. So when I went to vote, I seen it in all the ballot signs. And that signed and gave the address. So it was in the news that some idiot has. But why the idiot signed and gave the address? So all these people came to my house, and why did you like massacre your vote? I said, because I promised that I will vote you. Everybody of you have asked me, everybody I have said yes. You see, by giving importance to everybody, I have not given importance to anyone. In the same way, that reflected in my life as giving importance to everything, nothing remains special in my life. Not even myself. That is what is to live ordinarily.
Mm.
It's two opposite things. The matrix is in between. One side is the mundane, another side is the spiritual. They're two sides of the same coin. It's the same thing. That is, you give equality to everything, nothing is in.
So, since you're a poet and you're also a musician, no pressure on this
I'm
one.
not a very good musician, Ma.
Okay.
I sing.
Okay.
I
But
sing with my emotions that comes out, but I am not a trained musician. Means I don't know the grammar of music, or I theoretically know, but I am not practiced as a musician. I'm not devoted so much time as I devoted in painting and sculpture and designing into music. It's not always my tunes and beats are perfect or right. But when that gush of emotion brings out the words of inner experience, they become a song.
that's more interesting anyways for me personally, the essence of where your music is
There's the
coming from.
crazy songs. We call them crazy songs. So those who accept craziness, they're like,
Yeah. Well, so in this moment, is there any song or poem that you would want to share? It doesn't have to even be your own, but if it is, it's welcome.
here is a song of Lalan Fakir from Bangladesh that haunts in my mind. ধন্য ধন্য বলি তারে বানাইল এমনই ঘর শূন্যের উপর বস্তা করে. That hail to the one. Again and again, I praise the one, hail to the one who has made his house in voidness, standing on one pillar. The one pillar is the spine, and the head is the house of voidness. গুরু হলেন আলোয়া ঘাদি, গুরু হলেন আলোয়া ঘাদি, নির্বাণে সংসারে মেলা, জ্ঞানেতে ধ্যান নেতে রতি, গুরু হলেন ধারি গুরু হলেন আলোয়া ধারি যুগল তত্ত্বের প্রেম রসে যুগল তত্ত্বের প্রেম রসে দইতে অদ্বৈতে মিশে বসে আলোয় রাধা আধা দেখি আলোয় রাধা আধা দেখি আলোয় রাধা আধা দেখি গুরু হলেন আলোয়া ধারি গুরু হলেন আলোয়া ধারি গুরু হে গুরু হে গুরু গুরু হে গুরু হলেন আলোয়া ধারি মাতৃ প্রেমের গর্ভাধারে মাতৃ প্রেমের গর্ভাধারে পিতৃবোধের আলোক বাতে মাতৃ প্রেমের গর্ভাধারে পিতৃবোধের আলোক পাতে গুরু মেঘ বিজুরি জড়া জড়ি গুরু হলেন আলোয়া ধারি মন গুরু হলেন আলোয়া ধারি ভেসে গুরুর প্রেমের বাণে ভেসে গুরুর প্রেমের বাণে পরাণ রাধা মজল মানে ভেসে গুরুর প্রেমের বাণে পরাণ রাধা মজল মানে আনে আনে পরাণ রাধা মজল মানে খ্যাপায় অবধূতে কান্দে খ্যাপা